All right, everybody. It's time for the late night boxing talks. Post a link for the people on Twitter. I'm more or less done with the Crawford versus Spence thing. I mean, I'm just kind of over it. You know, I am. But I will say that it's very strange what Terrence Crawford, what Errol Spence Jr.'s supporters expect the rest of the world to believe. It was Drew, and shout out to my man Drew. He said it best, he tagged me to a post. What's goody Grim? What's goody Victor Jimenez? Que lo que, manín? Danny Lopez, que lo que, manín? Abner Ortega, que lo que? Alfredo Contreras, ya tú sabes, manín. Tyrell Logan in the building. Logan, whooshing. It was my man Drew. Shout out to Drew, my fellow Capricorn. Traveler of the world. Layer of the vagina. You know what I'm saying? Getting these joints. And he said it best. He tagged me to a post, and the post had Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn on the, it was a picture of them, and he asked the question in the post. Do these guys strike you as the kind of guys that would allow their fighters to fight for no money down, to fight for no guarantee? And that kind of aligned my perspective that it's like, yeah, yo, if any other promoter, like a Oscar De La Hoya or a Bob Arum or a Frank Warren, a Ben Shalom. Just imagine if Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall fought with no guarantee, no money up front for the fighters, or if Alicia Baumgartner and Michaela Mayer fought for no guarantee, that they're fighting for the net, whatever it does at the gate or whatever. What would people say? What would the narrative be then? But these guys have deified Al Heyman to the point to where they think it's normal for, a fight of that magnitude that has taken that long to put together. In their mind, because of how corrupted their minds are, or how just far gone from reality, how far removed, in their own minds, they think it's normal. That doesn't really strike them as anything. They don't think there's anything odd about that everyone else is getting a guarantee. In fact, the only guy I know that fought for no guarantee, no money down, no guarantee, and all he stood to make was from the upside of the pay-per-view. The last guy that I saw do that was Sergey Kovalev, and he ended up making nothing. But like I said, their minds are so corrupted and so inferior to mine, they don't see the forest for the trees. Shout out to my man Bass. Iron Kong, decent. You know what I'm saying? Jay Flint in the building. I got to get Terrence Crawford on here, man. I know he don't like to talk to people. I know he don't like media. But I got to get Bud on here, man. I got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Having a hard enough time getting Ellie to get on here. Got to get Bud on here, man. Got to get Bud on here. But just back to the point that I was making, that if you really thought about it, if you took that same offer, that now we know it's confirmed on both sides, the Crawford side and the Spence side, that, neither of the fighters stood to make anything. Well, that doesn't make it better. Why are fighters fighting, or supposed to be fighting, in an undisputed title fight with no guarantee? If Eddie Hearn offered somebody that kind of offer, what would these people be saying? If it were Bob Arum, if Bob Arum put together the Crawford versus Porter fight at no money down, no guarantees to the fighters, what would these same people that are defending Errol and are defending Al Heyman, what would they say? What's goody, Leo? It's ridiculous that they and I've said it before, they have deified Al Heyman. They view him like as a prodigal father that can do no wrong. They know absolutely nothing about the man, but they go up to bat for him blindly without looking around. That in this day and age, when piracy is at an all-time high, and stealing a fight, stealing a box office fight is just a click away, how is it a good idea to rely on the back end, or really just the upside of a pay-per-view? How in God's green earth is that a good idea? How? All it sounds to me like is like you offered the guy something you weren't expecting him to accept. Because here and now, piracy is worse, far worse than it's ever been. And you're telling me that this was a serious offer, a good faith offer. Show me another promoter that has fighters fighting in title fights for no guarantee. Show me another one. Show me one. This weekend's fight between Dimitri Bivol and Zurdo Ramirez, all right? Those guys are guaranteed money, and that's not an undisputed title fight. We haven't been waiting as long for that fight as we've been waiting for this one. And in their minds, because of how corrupted they are, that they don't. Do you understand how fucking stupid you sound co-signing this shit? Shout out to Lisa, shout out to Julio. They don't understand, because they've deified that individual because of misconceptions and just it's the weirdest thing. But Drew's post, and shout out to my man Drew, he really just aligned my perspective that, yeah, imagine if Eddie Hearn had, two of his champions or whatever, just two champions fighting for no guarantee. What would people say? If it were Bob Arum doing that, what would people say? Oscar De La Hoya, Frank Warren, Ben Shalom, if they had two champions going out there and fighting, and they're not guaranteed any money, what would people say? The same things as they are saying now. They are lost and for the streets now. Much like that one guy that can't draw their own conclusions. What's goody, JBN? Mr. D-Loke. Good evening, Ring IQ. Is the new name okay, or is it too anti-PC and crazy? George the Mulatto Shit, I'm a fucking mulatto eugenics experiment. I'm mixed, but if you was gonna classify me as something, that's what you would have to classify me as. But I tell people all the time I'm not from this planet. That's why a lot of that bullshit, my mind just doesn't work like that, My mind is completely logic based. And that's why when Drew made that post, it kind of like it aligned my perspective that, look, nobody else would get away with this. You guys are sitting here arguing in favor of this guy, not just because you're stupid, but because you know absolutely nothing about what's going on in the sport. No one else would have two fighters fighting in a fight like this for no guarantee. So either that offer's not serious or you're robbing these guys blind. And I'd sooner believe that, look, that offer, it wasn't serious. How could it be? How could it be? This guy could spit in the wind and hit a guarantee before he gets one from you. And it's not that Errol hasn't given fighters guaranteed cash before. He has. It's a sickness. You got Stephan Espinoza trying to negotiate a fight between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. And my question is what? Are they supposed to fight for free too? Is that because you don't want DAZN to be involved, right? You don't want them to be involved. So the purse to Ryan would be presumably coming from you. And what are you telling me? That you're expecting him to fight for no money down as well? Or is he getting a guarantee and Terrence isn't? Make it make sense. Somebody needs to ask Stephan. You're trying to do two fights, really three. You got Crawford versus Spence, no guarantees to the fighters. You got Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. My question is, are Ryan and Gervonta guaranteed money, and are they not guaranteed money? Are Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, are they guaranteed money, but they're not? Because what that's telling me is, you got money, you just don't want to put it out there. You expecting guys to fight on some type of day laborer type shit. I'm doing it, Leo. I'm fucking doing it. I'm fucking doing it. They released the numbers for Canelo versus matter of fact, I'll get them. I ain't even gonna do that. I'll get them. They made an official press release. I'll just post it because that's easier than going into a whole thing. Just give me a second, guys. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right with you. And I'm going to get several clippings because what these guys like to do is lie because they think everyone's as lazy as they are. That's what they think. They think everybody's as lazy as they are, and they won't do the research. They won't do the legwork to prove what it is they're saying, because they never prove what they're saying. They just jump on the internet and say whatever stupid shit comes to mind, whether it's true or not. It was DAZN themselves that released the pay-per-view buys for Canelo Alvarez's last fight. DAZN themselves did that. And I am about to post them for you. Just give me a second. There you go. DAZN themselves released those numbers. You see what I mean? Now what you're gonna probably do is do the cognitive dissonance thing, where I can post information and you ignore it. That's why it's not actually me trying to post information for you. It's me posting information so that people can see that you can do the legwork for these guys, and they'll be in denial. They'll resort to behaving like petulant children. Many sources, because it came from DAZN themselves, they released those numbers. In the United States alone, the pay-per-view is said to have done 850,000 buys in the United States alone. And I'm not posting these numbers so that Jay John will change his mind. I know that Jay John is all about the narrative. He's all about the narrative. He's not about doing the research. He's not about doing the facts. I'm posting these numbers so that the people in the chat can see that I can do the legwork for the guy. I can go retrieve the information for him, and he will move the goalpost. You can't help stupid. That's why I don't try to. I try to show people that you can't help stupid. I don't actually try to help stupid. Like, stupid can't be helped. You can't fix stupid. He could have did the same Google search that I did in under 1 minute and arrived at DAZN's press release, where they said it did over 1 million buys, over close to 1 million in America. They're the ones that said that, where you just told me that they don't release numbers. They're the ones who release those numbers. And like I said, what Jay John will resort to doing is hiding in the comments and saying things, and he's going to be in denial, yada, yada, yada. Eddie Hearn and DAZN are the ones that released those numbers, you know? They been did that. That's weeks old. That's not new news. They been did that. When they saw Dan Rafael put out numbers that were not real numbers, AJ's numbers are on Sky, his pay-per-view numbers. His fight wasn't a pay-per-view in America, so this is the type of silly shit I'm talking about. Now, AJ's numbers on pay-per-view for the last two Usyk fights were 1.2 million on Sky Sports box office. That wasn't DAZN. It was DAZN in America, but it wasn't a pay-per-view in America. Where it was a pay-per-view in the UK, it was on Sky box office, not DAZN. Like I said, case in point, bro. Case in point. Case in point. It says it clear as day. Eddie Hearn reveals Canelo versus Triple G3 pay-per-view buys in the U.S. around 850,000. And what does Jay John want to do? He wants to be in denial because of what I told you. You can do the legwork for these guys. You can show them the source material. You can show them where to go to retrieve it. But you can't fix stupid. You can't. You can't fix stupid. You think that shit, you just watched me. You just watched me go in my phone in under a minute, get the intel, and I can get more. I can do it all day. But will that convince Jay John? No, because Jay John is stupid. It's not about me trying to help him. Fuck him. He's lost. He's a lost cause. It's about me showing you that he's a lost cause. I'm not trying to help him. Fuck him. You can't help motherfuckers like that. I'm showing you that you could literally get everything you need to corroborate what you're saying and verify the information. And a creature, a mutant, a bellend, a doorknob like Jay John, all he's going to do is act like a petulant child because he wants to live outside of reality. That's why they love this digital environment. These are these guys that need Google stock images to use social media. They won't show you what they look like because they don't want to be teased, because in the real world they are teased. And they take out their aggression and their frustrations when they're on the internet by behaving like absolute fucking idiots. Guy's stupid. And he, like I said, he thinks that he's getting somewhere. He thinks that by being petulant in the comments that he's convincing any of you or that he's debunking me. He doesn't realize, level-headed people don't believe people like you. Nobody believes people like you. They believe people like me because I'm smarter than you, better than you, faster than you, stronger than you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing! You piece of shit. Spence fans off of Bud's video only had the argument that Bud needs better video production. I can't handle it. Yeah, but Spence's fans don't buy pay-per-views because if they did, his last pay-per-view would have cracked 300,000, and it didn't. Those motherfuckers don't count. Been saying it. Those motherfuckers don't count. I count. They don't count. Only me and Low and Hotboxing and Antonio. Motherfuckers like Jay John don't count. Do you think anyone on this fucking planet cares about what Jay John thinks? No. I'm only here to laugh at him and mock him and make him upset. That's all I'm doing. They can cry. That's all they can do. All you can do, John, is watch my live and boost my metrics as I make money. But you cannot stop me. You can't stop me, John. All you can do is type in the comments and hope that somebody believes you. Now, what I want to do is a social experiment. People in the comments, type no if you don't believe Jay John. Type yes if he should walk into traffic. Do it. Type no if you don't believe Jay John and you don't care what he thinks. And type yes if he should put his hand in a blender. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. It's a guy up there. Lo. He asked me to retrieve some information for him. And when I did, he started acting like a child. And this is what I'm saying. I did not retrieve the information to change Jay John's mind. That's not why I did that. I retrieved the information so that the people in the chat, the smart people, can watch me do it live and look at how he behaves. That's why I did it. Because there's no helping stupid. There's no helping. There's no fixing it. All you can do is make money from it. There's a sucker born every day, ladies and gentlemen, and that sucker's name is Jay John. You know what I'm saying? I could show you all the things. I could do all the research for you so that you don't have to lift a finger. And you're so stupid that you won't process the information. You cannot be helped. You cannot be saved. You are weak and inferior to me. Inferior. What the idiot don't get is every DAZN pay-per-view gives you exactly. He doesn't, bro, don't explain it to him. Just laugh at him. Laugh at him. Because you can't order the pay-per-view unless you're subscribed. You must subscribe first, or you must already be subscribed. Motherfucker's stupid, bro. I'm telling you. You can't fix stupid people. All you could do is find a way for them to make you money. In this instance, humiliating these bozos makes me a little bit of change. Yeah, he's J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man. Can't help a motherfucker like that. But yeah, I thought about it. I thought about the whole Spence Crawford thing, and I was like, I don't see any other promoters putting their fighters in world title fights and they don't have a guarantee. Could you imagine if Ben Shalom had all those girls, all those champions go out there and they were fighting for no guarantee? Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall for no guarantee? Mayer versus Baumgartner for no guarantee? This weekend, Chantel Cameron, Jessica McCaskill, undisputed super lightweight title fight for no guarantee? Bivol versus Ramirez for no guarantee? Zerto is basically a bigger Munguia. Ooh, that's a hot take. That is a hot take. Dude said Bud had to give Keith 10 mil or it was, yeah, bro. Yeah, bro, like the shit that I'm here to remind you as I'm visiting your planet and watching your boxing is that motherfuckers like that don't count. Motherfuckers is here for me and Lisa Bale's entertainment. Me and Drew's entertainment. They only here for us to laugh. That's all. And make money. Shout out to the homie Ricky. Que lo que? Yo, I was just talking about your post, Drew. This link is for Drew. I'm going to post this link for Drew because I want to chop it up with him real quick. I don't want 10 people backstage. I said the link is for Drew. Drew's post, you know, it reminded me that nobody does this. Nobody but Al Heyman would have guys fighting in an undisputed fight that we've been waiting for 4 years with no guarantee. Talk about that fucking shit, Drew. Talk about that fucking shit.
What post you talking about, Jules? When I asked
the one you made on Twitter where you was like, do these look like the kind of guys that would have their fighters fighting for no guarantee?
Oh, Eddie and Oscar?
Mm-hmm. No, because it gave me that perspective that I'm like, yeah, bro, if Eddie had his fighters fighting under a deal like that, what would people say? You know, they say like, yo, this guy's in it, like, you a thief, you a crook, like, how you gonna do your fighters like that? But it's okay for Al to do it though, right?
They would say he's racist. They would find a way to say he's anti-Semitic right now.
Bro, but it's some real shit. I'm like, yo, nobody else in boxing for a fight, because remember, that's not a normal fight. That's not a normal unification. You know, that's not fucking Fulton versus Figueroa. This is supposed to be a big fight. And I'm like, you telling me for a big fight, y'all don't find it odd that Al don't have no money for these people? Something wrong with y'all.
That makes no sense. And then they go and announce Plant versus Benavidez, and then that's the first thing I ask. Oh, are they fighting on the upside?
Listen, Showtime is trying to put together a fight between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. And my question is, do you have money for Ryan? Because remember, you guys don't want DAZN to be involved. And if you don't want DAZN to be involved, that also means the purse can't be coming from them, right? If there is a purse. You don't want them to be involved. It's not a Golden Boy show. Not really, right? It's a Mayweather show. So my question is, you don't want DAZN involved. It's not really a Golden Boy promotion show. Is Ryan getting a guarantee? But Crawford can't, right? Crawford can't get a guarantee, but Ryan can. And Jaime Munguia can. They can. And Canelo can. But not Terrence Crawford, huh?
Virgil Ortiz could. Hey, they'll even give one to Alexis Rocha. They'll give him one.
They got guarantees for everybody but Bud. Because I'm like, I know that you're not expecting Ryan to cross over from the DAZN platform to your platform for no money down. No fucking way. Come on now. You can't hope to do a fight like that with that kind of offer. So I'm going to assume that you guaranteed Ryan something. I'm going to assume that. And if you have money guaranteed for Ryan, money guaranteed for Jaime, money guaranteed for Canelo, but all of a sudden with Crawford, no money guaranteed. Your offer is not real. You are not serious. And if people are too stupid to see that, I'm not those people.
That's not negotiating in good faith, Jules.
I am Salahaddin.
And
fucking bitch.
What's going to happen when they give us Thurman Spence? They going to get a guarantee.
Peep the dumb shit. He says crawfish ain't no star, but Jaime Munguia is. You can't fix these stupid motherfuckers, man.
You can't really nah.
Like you literally can't. And he'll sit there. Look, he'll sit there doing that all day, and you're not convincing anybody. You're just showing us how inferior your mind is to mine, to Drew's. Drew, isn't he a fucking idiot?
It's beyond an idiot. It's just pure. It's pure delusion. It's pure. I wonder if they read like at a 4th or 5th grade level. Probably.
I wonder if he reads it all. Does he know that there are 26 letters in the alphabet? Or does he need someone to explain that to him from how inferior?
And you don't like to say it, Jules, but I'll say it for you. You being bilingual makes you even a superior intellect.
Of course it makes me a superior intellect. It is a scientific fact that people who speak more than one language are in fact more intelligent than those who don't. And I speak several languages. I speak Klingon, I speak Kryptonian, I speak Spanish, I speak English. I'm smarter, I'm better, I'm faster, I'm stronger. It's that simple. And so are you, because you're a Capricorn.
Yes. I just think it's just comedy. I think that they know the clock's running. The whole industry's saying it now after that Paramount earnings call yesterday. And I think Al's trying to figure out, okay, this Floyd thing is a test run on DAZN. If they're going to go direct to consumer, Jules, because everybody's doing it now. If they can cut out Showtime from all their next fights.
Well, I mean, the disastrous scenario is where they end up on Fight TV. And I've entertained that scenario more and more because you know how this works, Drew. Their metrics, nobody's really going to look at those metrics and say, well, yeah, we need this. You know, like we need this for what? We can put on reruns of The Honeymooners and get more views than this, you know? Like what is it going to cost us? So I'm like, let's just say that Paramount doesn't bring them over and Showtime is dissolved. I don't think ESPN picks them up. I don't. It wouldn't be bad if they did. I would want that, but I don't think they would pick them up. I don't know that DAZN would pick them up. I don't know that Al Heyman would want to be picked up by DAZN. I don't know.
I don't think they'll pick up the specific brand, but they'll ask for the fighters, certain fighters.
But the contracts might still be actionable. Even if Showtime is dissolved, that doesn't mean that Heyman doesn't have contracts on these fighters.
Yes. And it'd be up to if Al wants to sign those fighters, because ESPN's smart enough because they got Dana and Bob over there. They're not going to let nobody over there that doesn't play ball. Same thing with the best thing for boxing right now, Jules, is Oscar being over there in the Middle East, seeing what's going on over there, and him and Eddie squashing their little bullshit.
Oscar De La Hoya, that was his stable. And that ill-gotten stable, those ill-gotten fighters, the chickens are coming home to roost. You cannot see the cosmos the way that I can. The PBC is failing because they stole those fucking fighters. You stole them. That whole stable, you stole them from Oscar. And even with you stealing them fighters, Oscar was still able to develop a bigger draw than anybody you got over there. Fucking pathetic. Even Ryan is a bigger draw than all of those schmucks.
And look at Oscar sober, Jules, over there, because you know he can't
get a legend. He's a fucking legend.
He can't get no blow or no booze over there. They don't play that shit over there.
Well, he was lucid, man, and I was about to fucking clap because he gave a speech, and I love it.
And it went viral. He said, Eddie, we got to keep doing. That's a big fight, Jules. This is a big fucking fight.
It's a big fight.
This fight's better. This fight's better than Plant Benavidez.
I'll tell you that fucking shit.
Chocolatito Estrada's better than fucking Plant Benavidez.
Bet you they're going to make more money than those guys. Fucking Marco says shit. They let Canelo do a drive-by for 50 mil. Talk about it, Marco. Joel says, yo, Jules, in the morning by accident, I heard Fanon boxing live stream trying to justify why Little Fish Errol and Al couldn't guarantee Bud anything. But of course, they could for Big Draw Keith. And listen, Fanon, I'm not going to say a lot because that man is literally has mental problems. For those of you that don't remember, he had a mental breakdown on camera. That guy's on medication. Anybody that listens to him, yo, you deserve to be lied to. You know, but that dude literally has psychological problems. Literally. He had a mental breakdown about 2 years ago on camera. You could see the guy's on Seroquel or something. All right? they can justify as much of this bullshit as they want to. You don't cater to consumers and people that spend boxing. So even if your metrics on YouTube are good, those people don't matter. They don't buy pay-per-views. How is it that Wilder, you got over 100,000 subscribers, right? Your videos get over 100,000 views, but Wilder doesn't even get 100,000 buys. What does that tell you?
That it tells me, Jules, that brand is toxic to the consumer. And I'll tell you this, like I tweeted it too, the only fight that can get Spence to save any face in a from a PR sense is if he says, I'm fighting Boots.
Yeah. I mean, look, I would be willing to tolerate Spence versus Stanionis or Spence versus Boots like you, but we all know that's not the play. That's not the play. It's Thurman. We all know it. He didn't move up those ranks by act. You come back after 2 years of doing nothing. Nothing! You fight a guy who's coming off a loss at 140. You don't even fucking knock him out. And this gets you the #1 spot by way of the WBC.
And because he goes to 154, there's nobody for him to fight. No one's going to pay for a Garcia rematch. No one's going to pay for Fundora, Tony Harrison.
Nobody wants to see that shit.
And I'm laughing because that other side's like, well, they say PBC's broke. They got 6 dates on MGM reserved. I'm like, reserving a date just means reserving a date. That don't cost no money. That doesn't mean there's a fight.
That doesn't mean that fight is going to make any money. Listen, it's the cognitive dissonance is so strong in these individuals. You often hear me say that people can't see the forest for the trees, right? Look at what the pay-per-views were doing 4 years ago and look at what they're doing now. 64,000 pay-per-view buys. You think that's something to celebrate? Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz, 64,000 buys. Deontay Wilder from 325 to 800,000 to 600,000 to not even half, not even a quarter, 75,000.
Well, at least we know now that we're getting Ruiz Wilder Cinco de Mayo instead of Plant Benavidez.
Fucking, I'm telling you, that's why. Look, I equate the shit to like, I'm not gonna argue with motherfuckers. You see online that I don't argue with motherfuckers. I ain't doing that. If I'm gonna argue with you, it gotta be right here on camera where I can embarrass you for the bread. Otherwise, I don't need to talk to you. What the fuck am I gonna get out of talking to you?
Yeah, no, I got everybody on mute. The shit that has me dying is these people that think they know more than Paramount CEO who said Showtime's days are numbered.
My guy, we probably the only guys on boxing Twitter that have been talking about this for months. It's like we say it all the time. It's a lot of $2 motherfuckers out here. It's a lot of $2 and $5 motherfuckers out here.
Like Coach says, they're two figures net worth.
It's reality. It's a lot of nickel and dime and tray bags of shake ass motherfuckers out here. Really, it is. You silly motherfuckers don't know how to hand. You silly motherfuckers ain't got a couple hundo at your disposal. But you really think and I'm not trying to be elitist. I'm being honest with you. And then when I'm honest with you, what you do, you attack me for it. Paramount is on the brink of phasing out Showtime. All of this is happening right in front of you, and you're so fucking stupid, you don't realize it while you're wagging your finger to me and Drew and all these other It's like, yo, you can't really be that stupid, can you?
I mean, Espinosa says a few things to them and they run with it.
Espinosa comes by the suite and because he wouldn't lie, right? I just want to know, Ryan Garcia deserves a guarantee more than Terrence Crawford? Wow. Who's really the turncoat?
I'm not even going to divulge their sources though, Jules. Like, we both talk to some of the same people. I know you talk to certain fighters' managers, their agents, they from men and women boxers.
Bro, all I'm gonna say is if you got to the point, if perpetuating a narrative has gotten you to the point to where you start to argue that Ryan Garcia deserves a guarantee but Terrence doesn't, you're the Benedict Arnold. You're the traitor. You're the not me. I love Crawford. It's that dude, bro.
This is how stupid people are. You've seen numerous of times. I'm like, look, I'll Zelle you or Cash App you to go on a panel. I don't even gotta watch. I just want to watch. I'll give you 100 for your. I'll give you your hourly, double your hourly rate what you make at work.
Yo, listen, man. Oh, you ain't got to do. You ain't got to do that because I've always said my channel and what I do is not for everyone. I'm not trying to teach stupid people. Stupid people aren't worth helping. I'm not. I am here for my own entertainment and to make some bucks. That's it.
And I give him credit. Kudos to Artman for at least having the cojones to come on here that one time.
Yeah, right. I made a lot of money. He doesn't know it, but and I'm you know what people don't realize? That still gets watched, and I still make money from it.
That's like one of them. It's like every Christmas watching Die Hard, the rewatchability.
Yo, because
let me go put on that clip of Jules' son and Artman.
Because the metrics for that video were good. I guess the algorithm liked it and it keeps it in circulation. And I check it periodically just for shits and giggles. And it's still bringing in money. It's still bringing in residual ad revenue, And I'm like, yo, I don't know why y'all motherfuckers need to learn how to hustle, man. Like on some real shit.
And it's not even being elitist. It's just being a man. If you ain't got a disposable stuff to handle an emergency real quick, bro, like, now we ain't in the same league.
Yeah, real shit, yo. Like motherfuckers, like a lot of these motherfuckers. What I notice is they attach their pride to shit that they should not. Like, don't attach your pride to no motherfucking boxer. That boxer will curse you out in a minute. You capping for a motherfucker that don't give a fuck about you. But these motherfuckers are such losers and they so lost. They'll really sit there and cap for Al Heyman. You think Al Heyman give a fuck about you?
It's like that scene in Bronx Tale where Sonny said, nobody cares. Mickey Mantle ain't going to pay your rent.
Al Heyman don't care about Adrian Broner, but some dickhead in the comments think Al Heyman care about him.
real quick pivot before we go back to that. Did you see Sinisia body that dude on Twitter yesterday?
Oh, did I? He said something. She's like, your mother's a technician, a dick tech. I was like, yo.
These women boxers don't play, Jules.
I'm trying to tell you, that's why you gotta love her, man. She be doing the shit. But it's just, I gotta laugh at these fucking losers, man. Cause I'm like, yo, like, put it this way. You turned this into something that it's not. So if I play that game that you're playing, the only I see is you, because you trying to justify what? Canelo should get a guarantee, but Crawford shouldn't. Munguia should get a guarantee, but Crawford shouldn't. Ryan Garcia, who never even fucking held a full title, he should get a guarantee too, but Crawford shouldn't. That's you, because you the one turning against your own, not me. I don't believe he should be treated like that. You believe that. Because you the turncoat, not me.
Like I said, though, real quick, I'm putting it out there. I got Bevo stopping him in 10. TK.
If he stops him, I would be impressed.
TK or corner stoppage. Ref stoppage or the corner.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's ridiculous to me how far these guys are willing. You don't understand that if this fight has been built over 4 years, and, it's taken this long to get to this point, and you think that at this point it makes any sense at all that two unbeaten champions should be fighting for no money down. There's not a word for how stupid you are. I wish I knew it. It's not a word for that.
Like you always said, you could tell they were eating paint chips as kids.
Motherfuckers got problems, yo. I bet Errol didn't even complain about no guarantee, and it's a shame. Well, I believe that the real reason that Errol's not complaining is because he knows that's not a good faith offer. Because from where he's sitting, that makes no sense. How much sense does it make for you to you fought Mikey with a guarantee, Danny with a guarantee, Porter with a guarantee, and both Garcias with you fought them. You had guarantees. Now you're fighting with no guarantee, and you're okay with it.
It's a combination of two things. One, like you always said, like you've maintained with the same thing with AJ and Fury, they didn't expect Bud to take that fucking offer.
They didn't.
That's number one. Number two, when they saw like, oh, he's not dumb. He's taking the offer and asking questions. Okay, bam, that's number two. Number three, Bud's like, okay, bet. Why don't we just do what Eddie and AJ and them and all them doing? Let's package this fight and sell the rights.
Listen. Pay attention to Thurman versus. Pay attention to whoever Errol Spence Jr. fights next. And let's see if they're fighting for free. No guarantee. All they plan to make is from the net. Let's see if they don't have a guarantee. Let's see and let's wait and watch. Yo, I know you don't expect Ryan Garcia to cross over from DAZN and Golden Boy for no money down. No, of course not. That's ridiculous. You probably guaranteed him something, but you can't guarantee the homegrown American, two-time lineal, two-time Ring Magazine, 3-division, former undisputed, current reigning WBO champion. You have no money for him.
And not even that, Jules. They're not even questioning why Errol's not getting a guarantee.
Well, that's because they know that underneath it all, they know they're okay with, I should say, underneath it all, what they're okay with is Heyman fucking over Crawford. They're okay with that. This is basically the same offer that Sergey Kovalev was given in the second Andre Ward fight. And we all know, quite famously, he didn't make any money because there was no upside. Now, if Tim Smith tells you at the beginning of the year that he doesn't expect people to buy this, he expects people to steal it, and you're seeing that Wilder didn't sell any fucking thing at the box office, even though even I thought he would, you want them to fuck over this guy because you're scum.
And the mental gymnastics of that thing Errol said, why would I put a cap on myself? There is already a cap. But it's like I was saying, it's okay for Floyd to sell the rights for his fight because it's smart, but Bud and Errol can't do the same.
I mean, in other words, he's selling dreams, because in Terrence Crawford's life, he said that's what Al Heyman told him. And Al is used to dealing with stupid people that don't think for themselves. So, of course, you'd say something like, well, why would you put a cap on it? Because the fucking market value of this fight is affected by piracy. Not fucking dumb. That's why a fucking cap. There's already a cap on it. Piracy.
And the comedy and all that. When Errol went on Twitter, not live, in front of a camera like Bud, that's how you knew he was bullshitting. He didn't want his face seen. He didn't want to be seen stuttering, knowing that it wasn't him tweeting.
Yeah. I mean, like, you could tell that wasn't him because he doesn't fucking talk like that. And that dude doesn't talk for himself anyway. Like, he got the demeanor of a 12-year-old. Like, that dude don't talk for himself. That was probably, if that wasn't Tom Brown, that was his lawyer.
Bud talk when he get, Errol talk when he get liquored up.
Basically, that's when he come out his shell, start hanging out with Yellow Beezy, start sword fighting and shit.
Hey, but I got to get going, Jules. It's going to be a choppy with my mic where I'm driving through.
I bet, no problem, bro. I'll catch you on the next one. And yeah, yo, you know what I'm saying? All I'm telling y'all is when y'all see stupid people, do what I do. Don't argue with them. You know what I mean? Go about your business. Don't waste your time on them. If you can't make no money off them being a sucker, just leave them alone and let them be a sucker. You know what I mean? Anybody could, if Bud was reading cue cards, that just means he collected his thoughts with receipts. Moreover, everything that Errol said corroborated everything that Bud said. You don't need to be Perry Mason or Matlock or Telly Savalas to know that everything Errol said basically corroborated everything Bud said. Bud said he came to Errol with the offer. Errol was like, nah, I got to talk to my people. Bud said he went to Al with the offer, same shit. They wasn't trying to do it. And you expect me to believe that in this climate, with piracy being as high and affecting pay-per-views as much as it is, that you would rather gamble with no money guaranteed than investigate. Just investigate. All you got to do is check. Is the money in an escrow account? Where's it coming from? How we going to do this? You telling me 50 mil is not enough to make you investigate at least? Man, I don't believe you. Who do business like that? Don't believe that shit. Because who the fuck do business like that? Nobody. But you know, that's just the sickness that people have. Pride is a sickness. You know what I mean? It's a sickness, yo. Shout out to my man Will. Quick question, Jules. What do you think Bud meant when he said he knew why Errol was dragging this out? Sounded really ominous. Well, there's only a few reasons you would drag out a set of negotiations and fight on a schedule like that. And I believe, I don't know, I believe because it's like it's open to interpretation. Maybe what Bud meant or what Bud was told is that Errol is juicing, that he's taking something so he could keep making the weight. Because other than that, I don't know what he could mean. I don't know what else he could be talking about. That he telling them, yo, get your shit together because I know why you doing that and I know why you dragging this out. You know what I mean? I don't know. When someone talks to you and glances right, they are imagining, aka lying. Now, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far. Because sometimes I have cosmic visions and I have to look away real quick. You know what I mean? It gotta be a reason though. Whatever he's talking about, remember who his friends are that were PBC fighters. Sean Porter, Adrian Bronier. It's probably a couple other ones that we don't know about because fighters talk. It's life, B. People talk. And you a damn fool if you think everybody over there is happy. I could tell you without telling you, a lot of motherfuckers over there ain't happy, but they can't say nothing and they can't do nothing about it. Shit, he probably drinking too. Why not? He got an alcohol problem. Shit. You know what I mean? Jules, do you think Benavidez and Plan is going to bomb? I personally think people are fed up with pay-per-view since Heyman left a bad taste in everyone's mouth with King Kong. I mean, if it bombs, it's not as simple as saying, oh, well, this is not pay-per-view worthy. It's also the piracy that when I was young, it didn't used to be that easy to watch a pay-per-view for free. Like, no, it was never that easy. You used to have to like have a box or something. Like you used to have to you needed a more elaborate setup. Today, you could watch a fucking free fight on your fucking phone.
Yeah. The infamous, cable.
You remember that shit, right? Country, the box.
Yeah. I had one. I had a couple.
And it wasn't like now. Like right now, you could watch any fight for free on your laptop or phone. You literally could. It's terrible now. So it's not even. So it's a combination of things that fight fans are fed up. They are fed up, but also even if they weren't, the piracy itself is fucking everything up. Like the laws have not caught up to technology. You can't find everybody across all because remember, it's motherfuckers stealing fights in the UK. It's motherfuckers stealing fights in South America, North America, Canada. It's motherfuckers all over the world stealing fights, bro.
The only problem with piracy though, or like the free channels, is that you got to watch out because they got malware. So like you can get to watch a fight for free, but it'll end up installing malware or some kind of shit like that on your computer.
Well, but that's why you have to have and that's country. I'm glad you said that because that's a big part of the reason I don't bother to do that shit. It's not worth it. It's literally not worth it. And for all these business guys on Twitter, they got to pull out a fire stick to buy a fight. What's your business savvy like that you ain't got $80 to buy a pay-per-view for a fighter you supposedly support?
Well, they're just cheap.
Spence does it.
Hey, Jules, in all seriousness, though, it's got nothing to do with like streaming fights or anything, but one program that I highly recommend you use on your computer to stop any type of malware, spyware, any sort of viruses, called Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes is really good at making sure your computer doesn't get affected beforehand.
I've used them before.
So that goes for anybody, too, that's also listening. Anybody who wants to protect the computer, Malwarebytes is a really good program to
They
stop
got a free
anything
version
like
and they
that.
got a paid version.
Do they have a version? Do they have a version? Because I don't like the dude in the comments says that that's for Apple actually, and I don't.
Well, tell the dude in the comments I used to sell computers for 7 years so he can fly a kite. You can use that thing. You can use that. You can use it on a PC.
Yeah, you can, because I had a PC and I used it. So it does work on PCs.
I'll get that shit.
Yeah,
but like
Malwarebytes. I'm dead serious. If it's something that's gonna be really helpful, I forget. I'm not talking about streaming. I'm not talking about stealing anything. I'm legitimately saying to protect your computer, because those files on your computer are worth a lot more money than you know if you lose them. All right, the photographs of your family, etc. You want to protect yourself in real time. Also, whenever you're going on websites, if you click on something, you accidentally. I assume everybody who's listening, everybody who's on this chat right now, you likely have your PayPal account or Cash App or something that's on your computer. The whole thing that these people are looking for are vulnerabilities. Malwarebytes is a really, really good program that you can use.
That combined with a VPN.
Malwarebytes, and also use some sort of a virus protector, even a free version of that. You do those 3 things, you're not likely to ever get hacked. You're not likely to have any sort of issues.
the best way to do things, for people that want to watch porn and go to seedy sites, mom gets reamed, stuff like that. Too, hey, watch that shit on your phone, man.
Hey, but you know what? It'll install shit. What's the best website, Jules?
No, I'm just saying that if you want to watch the POVs, you know what? Don't watch that shit on your laptop. Your laptop is a weak point. Watch that. If you watch that shit and you're into those crazy sites, watch that shit on your phone, bro.
Hey, Jules, Lo says this would be a great sponsorship opportunity for your channel.
Sir, for a person who doesn't understand the meaning of POV, could you do us a favor and kind of expand on that? Kind of explain what you mean?
Well, POV is for the guy that he doesn't just want to rub one out; he wants to live one out, and to show you the angle,
a close-up
at which the action and the magic is happening, which is not your conventional smut, where there's a storyline and a background, the horny neighbor boy and the mom, the MILF, it's not that kind of thing. No, POV,
You know what, Jules? If for whatever reason you can't do this boxing thing, which I don't have any doubt that you can't, it sounds like a director of adult movies could be something that you could potentially get yourself involved with.
We have to be the best versions of ourselves.
You really have to. If you're not growing, you're dying, sir.
Exactly. I mean, that's how it's always been for me. You just got to keep evolving, like the woolly mammoth to the elephant. That's the way it is, and that's what you have to do. So boxing doesn't work out. Porn is a viable avenue of opportunity. With all due
respect, porn director, sir.
Exactly.
So much for the family channel.
In all seriousness, it's just mind-boggling that so many people are deifying this guy, and it's like, fam, you have 2 fighters that Errol, like the Jay John guy, he was in the comments saying, "Oh, Crawford doesn't deserve a guarantee." Yeah, you wank, but Errol says he's not getting one either. That doesn't strike you as peculiar? Errol says he's not getting one either.
Well, the thing is that makes sense is that that whatever the next fight that Earl Spence is going to have on the PBC, I will bet $100 bill to anyone who not anyone, but
he'll have a guarantee.
That he'll have a guarantee, and likely whoever he fights will be an in-house fighter, and he'll also have a guarantee. Absolutely. So the question that has to be asked is, why is it that we can agree, and even probably most PBC fans and or apologists or even people who work for the PBC can say that it's one of the biggest matchups? How is it that you have guaranteed money for a lower quality fight, but for something that's considered a much higher valued fight, that suddenly the banks close and there's no way to make it happen?
One thing I want to mention, and this is not a slam, but and this was like brought up before, that neither one of them is like a huge draw. So I'm not saying that this is a reason, but this could have contributed to the fact that maybe the both of them together, even though this is supposed to be a big fight, aren't able to draw as much as they want them to.
Okay,
in
and
order to
my
make money.
report.
Let's but wait a minute. See, this is the thing. This is the inconsistency. That the same people that not but a few months ago were saying that this is a bigger fight than the Canelo Golovkin fight, right? This is what they were saying a few months ago.
Right. I remember that.
If this is a bigger fight than that fight, how come they were guaranteed cash and they're not? If
No,
the
I
zone is
agree.
broke, how come the zone can guarantee all their fighters money, but Showtime and Al Heyman can't?
Well,
Who's
Around
outside
70
thinking,
million
I want to
guaranteed.
hear that shit?
Hey, Jules, read the
realistically,
super chat, man.
Go ahead. PBC Fruits will be shown on OnlyFans broadcast. That's going to be Errol, Devontae.
realistically,
Julius,
Wait,
can I say
what's that?
something?
Can I
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go, Jay.
Okay, just right with this. Hey, Jules, I got a project I'm working on, right? I'll pay you $5,000 for you to edit a video for me. But here's the thing. Do all the work first. I'll pay you in like a month. Would you take that shit?
Well, of course. Listen, bro. The same schmucks that are on Twitter and just on social media and on this platform saying that, yeah, Terrence should just do it. He should just trust Al. Would you go into work if you knew you weren't going to get paid?
well, let me ask you this question: are you going to go work for somebody who has been adversarial for you for the last 5 years? Are you going to trust that person?
Exactly.
who's
Like
been your
Al Heyman
adversary?
has not been a friend to Crawford for the last 4 years. But like, look, a lot of
Okay, Julius, I have a word for you. I need this video edit, and I'm gonna give you 35% of what I make. What do you think? I don't know what I'm. If you are asking me for receipt, I'm sorry, I cannot give you. What do you think? It sounds like a good deal,
bro.
Do we have a deal, Julius?
Bro, this is what I'm saying. These guys, and I only say this not because I'm elitist, but it needs to be said. They're like, fam, you don't know nothing about money. All right, you're probably not even the head of your household. So be quiet. This is a bad deal. Anyone with one iota of common sense that knows either anything about boxing, anything about business, or both. This is a terrible deal. It's terrible.
But you know what?
What other promoter do you see has champions fighting for no guarantee? Woo!
Do you know the thing that tells everybody? One thing that a lot of people miss about the whole entire conversation that Crawford had, or the video he did. He said one thing that was telling. He said, "I know this is a terrible deal." Now, when a man's willing to admit that he knows he's going to be getting it bad, and he says, "I know it's a terrible deal, but I'm still willing to take it because I want to fight." Anybody who says that he's ducking, when a man admits, now men generally don't want to admit fault. Men don't generally want to admit when they're wrong. Men don't want to admit anything. We have valor, we're brave, etc. He said, "This is a bad deal." He told everyone that, but I want to fight so bad, I'm willing to take it.
Bro,
How people
I just had a guy in the comments that said, Crawford doesn't sell, he doesn't deserve a guarantee, right?
Okay.
But Munguia does?
Okay, well, no, the better question. Okay, so this is the better question. Fine, we'll go with that narrative. Let's go with that narrative. Then the question would be your fan base, and I know you, not you, but this guy who said it, says that Spence sells. He's good. Then why isn't he getting a guarantee then? Okay? It's because they don't want to make the fight. If you don't recognize this, you're stupid. The PBC doesn't want the fight.
They never did. You don't like I know that to some individuals, which is why I've always maintained this channel isn't actually for everybody. It can't be, because what I'm saying, a lot of the time is going to go over most people's heads. If I tell you that Paramount is on the brink of phasing out Showtime, you yourself have to be able to connect the dots and derive why is that important? Why are we talking about this on a boxing channel? Because Showtime shows boxing.
Can I say something, Julius?
Go ahead, Leo.
Look, there is a difference between reliability and validity. Let's make for example, motherfuckers here in Chile, we're talking about the criminality rate. Most of the data on criminality rate, misdemeanors, those data are not reliable at all because it can be under reported or over reported. But you know what data is reliable and is valid? Murders, missing people.
Shit.
You see? Because that information you cannot make it up. And related to boxing, pay-per-view numbers are not really reliable. They are valid numbers, but they are not reliable. You know what is reliable? Shows.
Yeah.
What people are. If you see a promotional company spending money, yeah, that information is reliable.
Of course.
What the Sony is investing in the sport? A lot of money.
A lot.
What is PBC investing in the sport? They're going out.
Bro, you literally had the it's like I say it so much, and it's because I know that when I say it, it's not registering. You started off the year saying you don't think people will buy this. You fast forward to the end of the year, and what you show people based on both sides of the story is that you're not putting any money up. But they want to make the fight, though, right?
Okay, so they say the PBC says, one of the representatives says, we don't think the fight's going to sell. With all due respect, we don't want to make an offer. How can you then turn around and then say, well, what if we make Errol Spence, and we put Errol Spence and we put Thurman or Errol Spence in a mandatory? We'll put that on on pay-per-view, and that'll sell. So what you're really saying is that Bud Crawford is cancer to any fight that he would ever be in because he's not going to sell. You tell me what a guy who's fought 3 times in 5 years that basically had to rig himself to be the WBC #1. What does that man bring to the table per eyes? Money. Translates to money over something like Bud Crawford. Like I'm dumb.
Let me score this touchdown, bro. Let me just score this touchdown real fast. What sold more at the box office? Crawford versus Porter or Thurman versus Barrios?
Crawford versus Porter.
Crawford Porter.
Did they even reported those numbers?
I think it was. I know it was under 100,000. I know that. I know it was under 100,000.
Porter made more money with Crawford than with Spence.
Exactly. And that's not us making up numbers. That's what was reported to the commission. If Sean made more, awesome. But we know at minimum he made $4 million. That's 2 times the amount of money he made with Spence, guaranteed. 2 times. Now, if your argument is that Thurman sells more than Crawford, does he? He was just on
based on what? Well, based on what? Where can we see the Barrios Thurman numbers? Where are those at? Were they released?
Exactly, because he's such a fucking
No. Yeah, but were they released? Yes or no? Did they release the numbers?
Nope.
Okay, so they didn't. So you have no proof, at least recently, that he sells. How are you going to shove that piece of shit fight down my throat, but tell me that Crawford doesn't sell? It's just use data and facts and logic.
Because it's coming from guys, and I say this like I said, I don't say it to be elitist, but I can't have the conversation without saying it. It's coming from a lot of guys that think like 12-year-olds. Like, yeah, you might be adult in terms of age, but you've been stupid your whole life, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change. I'm always going to be smarter. I'm always going to be faster. I'm always going to be stronger. I'm always going to have more money than you. You're fucking dumb. You're dumb. If you can't connect this shit, if you can't connect these dots, something got to be wrong with you. It has to be.
But you have to know that deep inside, at least someplace inside of them, there has to be at least one of them or 2 of them or 10 of them. There's a sliver of understanding.
There is
denial.
It's all emotion. It's all emotion. It's all emotion, because only emotion and being emotionally compromised because you're deifying a man who never did anything for you, who you've never met, because someone on YouTube told you a Cinderella story about, Al Heyman is the fairy godmother of boxing, because you believe that dumb shit. You're deifying this guy and you're emotionally invested in this guy. I could tell you something as simple as he's just another crook in the sport. There are many. There are several. He's one among them. These guys are so emotionally compromised, they'll resist. And once you're emotionally compromised, logic, it doesn't work.
The question is this: is forget boxing. Let's just, if you want to look at politics, if you want to look at movie stars, if you want to look at anything, what does propagandists generally do? They always push somebody to a higher level to get people to follow or pay. They do it in politics, they do it in movies, they do it in music. They deify people to get them to follow. It's very easy once you're emotionally attached to something, right? Because you've met people who are emotionally into like a band, or they're into a politician, they're into something. Nothing you can ever say about them, even if you show them their facts.
They can do no wrong. It is statistically impossible for Al Heyman to do anything wrong to these people.
But Al Heyman is just a man, just like you and me, who makes mistakes. He does good and bad. So there's
not
no
in their
way
mind. He is the fairy godmother. He's the fucking fairy godmother in the Cinderella story. He's gonna come by and he's gonna give everybody tickets to his shows one day. You know what I mean?
Imagine being a grown person who is going to believe anything and everything that someone tells you. I don't believe everything that my mom and dad say to me my whole life, but suddenly I'm supposed to believe this guy? Are you going to tell me this guy doesn't have the capacity? A lawyer who used to be in the music business, he's not going to lie or do something wrong?
Having lived on your planet for a number of years now, I have made the statistical deduction that about 75% of the overall human populace has underdeveloped brains. About 75%. Most of the people are fucking dumb. Period.
I can tell you that you're wrong because it's 90%.
Hey, man. Hey, Caleb Plant was a perfect example of that. Pardo listos chingazos.
Hey, wait a minute. He ain't that bad. He's got Jordan Plant. So he ain't that bad. Shout out to Caleb.
Hey, shout out to Caleb Plant, though. Sorry to interrupt. Shout out to Caleb Plant, though, because after he got his ass cooked by Canelo, he got his paycheck, right? He sold the fight pretty well. We knew he was going to lose. He went out. He took his licks. He did acting like a bitch in the ring afterwards, but that's here nor there.
You got Jordan pregnant.
He fought another dude. It was a nice little, big knockout or whatever. But what did he do? He came back, continued his career, and now he's going to fight a guy who was a decent opponent. That's a man I respect. I respect the fact that he's willing to do that. I respect the fact that he takes his lumps.
I'm just giving him crap.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying we have to look, as much as we can slander people, I think we also have to.
But listen, look, let me say this. I'm not slandered. Like, forget Caleb, forget him, because I've from 2019 till now, I said Caleb wants to fight more than David, and I'll leave it there. Like, David, you didn't fight for that fight. Your manager is your father, bro. Okay, it's your father. It's not like your manager is some high-powered lawyer and you don't want to piss him. Ooh. For God's sake, your manager works for you. So if you want something, you go up to him and you tell him, okay? And I feel you didn't want this fight. You were going to fight Uzcategui, for God's sake. Now let me read the super chat. How do you guarantee Rolly money? And Luis, eso es lo que yo te decía. You got to guarantee for everyone, bro. Like the Oprah meme. Guarantee for you, guarantee for you, guarantee for you. Everybody gets a guarantee.
Hey, and you even get a new white helmet with it.
Hey, Franken Beans with the shit. Will says Vladimir Lenin called them useful idiots because that's what they are. The trick is the science is to find a way to make those idiots work for you.
Hey, Ring.
You're good.
Hey, Ring. How's it going? This is Emi Bustamante. First time on the chat. Big fan.
Hey, welcome to the chat, brother.
Appreciate it. Been listening to you guys for a while and have a blast. But hey, listen, Ring, you and I are roughly around the same age, man. We've been watching boxing. I mean, I think I heard you say your first experience was Chavez Camacho. Mm-hmm. Mine was like right before that, Chavez Taylor. And we've seen a lot of these fights come and go that never happened. We saw the Bo Lennox. We saw
Tyson Mercer.
Dude, I was waiting for Mayweather Zoo for a while. Yeah. When they were both at 140.
Mayweather Margarito is another one.
Mayweather
the annals of boxing history are littered with these kinds of fights.
Dude, and with this particular fight, it's painful now only because of how much of a fan I am of Bud. I mean, this guy is, like you say, Achilles, but he's more than that. I mean, this guy is a natural born fighter. You can put this guy in any combat sport and he'll have success. You know, he's not a 1-2 textbooks like Spence.
Yeah.
But here's the problem I have with a lot of these PBC fans. I feel, judging, this is my theory, judging by a lot of what they have to say and what they're focused on as far as the sport, that I think they're new fans to the sport. You know what I mean? They're not they haven't been around as long as you and I have watched the sport evolve, highs and lows. Fights never happened. Fights did happen. Promoters working together. They haven't been around long enough to actually witness these events. The De La Hoya Trinidad, Lewis Tyson, right? And a lot of what they have to say comes from the inexperience of watching a great sport over a long period of time.
Well, a lot of what they have to say have to come with because there are people out there that quite deliberately, polarize the sport where it's not polarized. You know what I mean? Like Eddie Hearn became a polarizing figure. Why? Oh, because he's the opposition to Al Heyman. And Oscar, he's also polarizing. And Bob, he's also polarizing. And you see that the nexus of their very fucking existence is Al Heyman. You hate everyone. You hate everything. You don't like anything. You only like Al. You fucking idiot. Like, it's insane. It is insane. Like, yo, dog, anybody who is competition for Al, they don't like him. If we talking about he knew he ain't shit. Canelo ain't shit. The Zone ain't shit. Matchroom ain't shit. Golden Boy ain't shit. You'll watch Showtime and the PBC sink year after year after year. The numbers literally have gotten lower and lower and lower and lower. And they don't process it because all you care about, Al Heyman, what do you think he is?
Bro, the top guy, the guy who I thought had actually crossed over to a pay-per-view star, did 77K pay-per-view buys, bro. When I saw that number, I was like, what the fuck? I was expecting like 300.
Bro, so was I.
No puedo creer eso, bro. No puedo creer que hizo 77 cuando hizo 850 with Fury, bro. Like,
la misma cosa. It's the same. I said that. I'm like, yo, that's a sharp. From 600,000 to 77.
So you're telling me the 700 of those buys were Fury's from Fury's fans? 700.
Tú sabes lo que también el boxeo te cansa. Like as a fan, boxing can be exhausting. Why? When I was an NFL fan, I never had to worry about there not being a Super Bowl. There's always a Super Bowl. I always get it. I always, I don't have to worry about that. I didn't have to worry about there not being a World Series. There's going to be a World Series. And two teams are going to play, and one is going to win, and one is going to lose. And that dynamic exists in every sport. NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL, rugby, soccer, it exists. Only in boxing do you have these mutants that'll spend 4 years arguing against a fight, then they'll argue in favor of it to go back to arguing against it. Because that's what this has been. The same cocksuckers that love Spence, it's okay for him to fight Mikey. It's okay for him to fight so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, so that 4 years later, he did all the heavy lifting. He didn't have to do the heavy lifting if he would have fucking fought him 4 years ago. Fucking idiot.
For them to be like, this is the biggest fight in boxing, bigger than Triple G Canelo, bigger. Oh, no, it shouldn't happen. But can't sell. Like,
exactly.
Ni ellos mismos entienden, bro. No se entienden
ellos son porque así es la mente de una persona que es miserable. Ellos son miserables. Ellos odian todo el mundo. They hate every fighter, bro. They hate Inouye. They hate anybody who's not PBC, they hate him. Anybody. They all suck. Lomachenko, Devin, Shakur. Everybody sucks. Everybody sucks.
Julius, to your point, this is how difficult to understand boxing is. I hear people say often that MMA functions in a totally different way than boxing, because in MMA, the best fight the best almost every time. But what these people don't realize is MMA and boxing most of the time function in the same way. One promotional company
Yep.
making their guys fight. They
Mhm.
don't understand that, because when they watch the UFC, they think that's the MMA world is. No, the MMA world is UFC,
Bellator,
Bellator,
UFC, K1,
yeah, all those promotional companies, and they never fight each other.
ever,
Never.
ever.
In boxing, sometimes cross promotional companies happens, but most of the time you find the same situation, but you see it in a different perspective because you don't understand the sport really,
Yeah.
and
But
it's
Yeah, look.
difficult to understand the
But
sport because
what we can also say about boxing, see, when me, Bustamante, Country, all of because we're all of age mostly, we're all of age. The infrastructure of the sport did change, and with it, the things that made it great kind of stopped. They did. Like it used to be about the value of the fight. You didn't have as many egos. Now every fighter that has one quality win thinks he has fucking arrived. Like, oh my, this is it. I have arrived. You know what I mean? That's how it is. Guy wins it, but this is it. Pay
Yep.
me everything. I need everything.
You know, I can pinpoint.
Then the minute the zeros lost, it's over.
It's over. It's over.
I could pinpoint the exact moment I lost interest in boxing. Being a lifelong boxing fan, watched everything up until one moment when Adonis Stevenson got in the ring after Kovalev beat, I believe it was Hopkins, and they started barking at each other. And at that moment, I'm like, man, because by that point PBC was already up and running, and you already saw how they were moving. Kid Chocolate had to drop his belt. Didn't fight. What was the 160 pounder he didn't fight?
It was Korobov. He was ordered to fight Korobov in defense of his WBO, and he said it in a Ring Magazine article because that's where I read it. He was instructed by Heyman to drop the title, and he trusts Al Heyman so that he could end up getting his ass beat by Daniel Jacobs. You can't make it up.
No. And at that moment when Adonis Stevenson's in the ring with Kovalev, and I'm like, man, this fight is not going. I knew it. This fight is not going to happen.
And
every other moment, and never did. Every other moment in boxing that I've watched, people get in the ring, they talk their shit, and you just have an inkling that it could happen. It could happen. These guys, Shea Mosley was in there yapping with Mayweather after the the Marquez fight. And that fight happened. It would happen throughout the course of history of boxing. At that moment, I knew that fight was not going to happen.
I knew, bro. I knew like Kovalev, Better Beef. I knew underneath it all. And this is when Better Beef was still on. When he was still under Yvonne Michelle, and he was still on the PBC side because Yvonne Michelle was doing business with the PBC at that time. And I knew this Kovalev thing isn't going to happen. It's not going to. I don't know why people are talking about this. It's not going to happen. I knew 2017, 2018, it really started clicking that these guys that are with Al, they're not going to fight anyone because he won't send them out. And I get it. Like, I'm not unsympathetic. I understand that sometimes you don't want to send your guy out because it doesn't make sense for you. I get that. But what I'm saying is, even in the instances where it does make sense, you still don't send them. If it came down to, if Canelo says, yo, I want Jermall Charlo, but I'm not fighting on your fucking platform. Fuck your platform. We just saw it with Caleb. DAZN made an offer for the Caleb Plant undisputed fight. Was Caleb going to cross the street? No. The fight was about to die. But because Canelo wanted it so bad, fuck it, I'll go over there. Fuck it.
Julius, they rejected a Canelo fight for Jermall Charlo.
Exactly, and they like to pretend that because it's coming from Oscar, it's not real. Well, there are other people. Jamal's old sparring partner said he rejected the fight. Jermell let the cat out of the bag, saying, "I'm not the one that rejected that. I would never reject Canelo." But that's these guys' shit. It's to play dumb and act like a petulant chat, which is cool, bro. Do that to your heart's delight on social media. Just stay away from me. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to talk to you. I don't care what the fuck you think it is. You see me make a video about it, and that gets you upset because, and I'm not being funny, I'm just saying, more guys are listening to me than you. So that's why they get mad about it. Like, oh, how you gonna, hey, motherfucker, do the same thing. Go make a channel and see who watches that shit then.
Yeah.
Go do it.
All this can be tracked to one person because he always come to the conversation because it has a lot to do with him, with Floyd Mayweather.
Oh yeah.
Because Floyd Mayweather was with Al and is still with Al Heyman, people think that, come on, Al Heyman make this dude rich. He can really make mistakes? No, he cannot. He has a plan. You just don't see it yet, but it's gonna succeed because look at what he did with Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. How is that working now?
Exactly. Shout out to Martin Munoz and shout out to Willie Lynch. Appreciate that Cash App donation. You didn't have to do that, but you did it, and I'm thankful for it. And I'm in 100% agreement with Leo because I have always felt that the reason that all these guys go along with this cockamamie program is because of all the empty promises about Mayweather money. Oh, yeah, you see what I did for Floyd? You see what? Have you duplicated Floyd yet? Is anyone over there doing what Floyd was doing? I think you, Jay, you know what my argument always is. Floyd made Floyd. Top Rank groomed him, but he was a special fighter. But Al Heyman didn't make Floyd. By the time Al Heyman came into it, he was already a fully developed fighter. You didn't make him.
No, he didn't.
Guess what? Y'all know who else they made? Pacquiao. When he went to TBC, he spent his whole career with Top Rank.
You see that? It's like, yo, they act like it's kind of like the Virgil. It's a little bit like the Andre Ward, Virgil Hunter argument that people were under the impression. And I'm not knocking Virgil Hunter. I'm not. But it became a thing that people felt that, oh, he's like a Eddie Futch. But no, it's not like that because you have a generational talent. So you have a really good fighter that you're working with. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're Ray Arcel. You know, that don't mean that. That don't mean that you're Customato. And it's kind of like that with Al and Floyd. Well, fam, you got Floyd. Floyd was the best of his generation. But the success that he had was because of that. You were along for the ride. You was just in the right place at the right time. Said the right things. I wonder what the relationship is like now.
Hey,
it's not only that.
Bruce Trampler gets credit for their career building.
I got to talk to Bruce Trampler. Lowe has interviewed Bruce Trampler before. I want to talk to Bruce Trampler because it's a fucking wealth of knowledge in these fucking people. Bruce Trampler, Carl Moretti, Brad Goodman. These guys know shit that we have never even heard.
Yeah.
Never even heard.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Maybe you don't have a athlete in the level of Floyd Mayweather. Maybe not AJ. Maybe not Canelo. But at least you could see some improvement. You can see, oh, this guy is making numbers, big, higher and higher numbers consistently. You could see it. Is Errol or Gervonta or Jermall doing more and more and more numbers?
Oh, it's when you lay it out like that, Leo, it's even more obvious. From the moment you debuted on pay-per-view, have you exceeded 360,000 buys? No. You've been going down. Your numbers have been going down. Not up, down. Okay? Both the Charlo brothers debuted on pay-per-view. Their next fight, they were back on regular TV. Okay? So you're not going up. You're going down. Wilder, you went from 325 to 800, which was good, to 600, all the way down to 75,000.
77 exactly. But anyway, we get the best.
Pardon me.
And you can't even credit the PBC for that. I mean, think of any PBC pay-per-view. What other PBC pay-per-view? Strictly PBC pay-per-view, not a co-promotion with.
Yeah, not a Canelo fight
No,
because we all
right.
know who's responsible for those numbers.
Exactly.
Hey,
touches 800,000.
Dragon Leg wants to know who you're picking out of Bivol and Zerto.
Tune in for the weekend. Tune in for the weekend picks tomorrow.
At what time is that fight coming up?
It's probably going to be a 6, Leo, because they on UK time.
Okay.
6 p.m. I'm on the East Coast, so I'll say 6 p.m., 5 to 6 p.m. East Coast time, because I believe in Abu Dhabi, they're on UK time.
What time is in your planet, Julius?
Let me look at the goddamn shit.
Abu Dhabi's on UK time? Really?
No, I believe that. No. I believe that they're doing it on the show on UK time.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not actually. No.
I was gonna go. Wait a minute, man.
Of course not.
Right.
Let me see. Okay.
Rewind.
Wait a minute. It says 8 a.m.
Uh-oh. When?
Bro, 8 a.m. What, Saturday?
8 a.m. Saturday morning?
That's what it said. Wait, that's the way. Wait, that's the way.
Okay.
The fucking weigh-in, bro. It's the fucking weigh-in. Let me see.
Don't do that, man. I mean, I would have been up for it.
I thought I was losing my mind, bro. What is this fucking shit? It doesn't show the time, though. Set reminder. What time is the fucking event for, though? It doesn't.
It should be on DAZN's page by now, shouldn't it? Or
but do they? No, it's there. But I'm trying to see, where does it show the time? Let me see. Schedule.
7 p.m. in UK time.
Let me see. Saturday, 10 a.m. That's before the bell. The prelims start at 10 a.m. The main card starts at 1:30 p.m. East Coast. Because I'm on the East Coast. It's showing me the main card starts at 1:30 p.m.
Nice. Wow. What about the main? What time the main?
No, that's the main. That's the main.
The main, okay.
That's the main.
So 1:30 Saturday. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, man. It's just to me it's insanity, and I do view it as a bit of a mental disorder when there can be that proliferation of information out there, and people can go as far as presenting it to you concisely and showing you, just all these different things that are out there, and motherfucker just sit there being in denial, satisfied, like, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Like, then don't fucking believe me. Then look, no, I'm cool with that.
Why are you here?
Don't fucking believe me and go fuck off. What the fuck?
It's like when you're a teenager and a girl's trying to break up with you, and you're not buying it. You're like, yeah, but can we talk tomorrow? Can we still hang out?
Can we talk? Let's talk. Like, yo, if you don't believe, I literally this past Saturday, it was Saturday or Friday, I shit you not, I had a guy. Now, Ring IQ started as a Facebook group, right?
Yep.
Many years ago, right? And I had a guy on Saturday. He said he used to follow the Facebook. I've been following you for a long time. I know all about your biases. I'm like, wait a minute. You've been following me for 7 or 8 years? Are you insane? I'm biased. Pete, I'm biased, agenda-driven, so you've been following me for 7 or 8 years?
Hey, Jules, 7 or 8 years, and he's still angry.
Yo, that's the same thing I said, country.
Fellas, you know what? It's probably the guy who hangs out in from the smell of the people shit all day long.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've been following you. I know all about you. I was in your group. You want to let me know, country.
What is this? What kind of life does that guy have, man? I want to know this.
Bro, the guy said, I've been following you ever since the days of Ring IQ on Facebook, and I left your group because you're biased. Oh, you left my group so you can follow me on YouTube?
Jules, you know what I think it is? You know what I think it is? I think he wants you to give him that truth.
You better stop, Jay. Stop that shit. Ricky Ricardo says, salute people. I would encourage people to research Heyman's shady business practices and lawsuits in the music industry and see how that's transferred to boxing.
Yeah.
It's a lot. You'll know why he stays hidden. Yeah, he already has exactly, bro. He has a damaged reputation, but it's like the Jay John guy. He doesn't want to do the read. You think that fucking guy wants to read? He's struggling with 2-minute boxing scene articles that are 2-minute reads. You think he's going to go through legal documents and know what the fuck they say?
Nope.
By the way, y'all want to hear something funny? I remember when Inoue fought that Baz Marinas guy. Like, I went to the boxing scene article, right? And like one guy left in the comments, why is Inoue fighting this guy? He's a bum. I'm like, well, in the article it says this is mandatory, you fucking idiot.
Bro, and boxing scene articles are literally 2-minute reads. They're 2-minute reads.
One minute they can speed read.
Is that the guy? Sorry to interrupt. Is that the guy that basically just slanders Bud in every article? Is it the same guy? Is it Boxing Scene 247 or whatever?
No. You're talking about the Chris Wallace guy. That's who you're talking about.
Yeah, Biggie Smalls Jr. or whatever. That dude legitimately, all it is slander. It's the most biased commentary. It's not even, you can't even call it
I couldn't believe that the article was published. Like how some of the articles that I've read, not just the Bud stuff, but also the old stuff, the Wilder Joshua stuff. And it was so far to one side. I'm like,
I mean, he'll get to the point where he'll almost borderline name call. I mean, it's the most unprofessional articles I've ever read. And I mean, we agree that when you read news, it obviously has like a slant or bias, but it's not so blatant. Like those articles.
But there is going to look. In other words, if you come here and I do a segment on Wilder, it's not just me. Well, Wilder's just a bitch. He's just a fucking. No, I'm showing you articles of how I arrived based on all the available information that I could tabulate and I can get and all of that. And I'm showing you this is where I got my perspective because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm not just going to sit here. I'm saying if I say, if I say, well, look, I don't really believe this because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right, I've done the legwork for you. I've shown you where you can go get it and look at it further if you want to. And there's people, just like Lo says, I don't accept facts that go against my preconceived notions.
But ultimately, we would agree. Myself, Country. Jay, everybody else on the panel, Leo, yourself, anybody else who comes in here, if the other side that we disagree with or we don't always see eye to eye was to present factual data that had merit. So, for example, if Deontay Wilder did something or when it came to a contract or something, I believe that we would all look and go, okay, Eddie Hearn was wrong or whatever. We're not going to here and just we're not going to propagandize bullshit. We're going to say the facts are the facts, and if I like it or not, we can be objective and say, well, that's what it is. And the thing was this: if the deal came down with, we'll use right now because it's hot, Spence versus Crawford. If it came out that Crawford did something that was against our perception or what we liked, I think we all could readily admit, you know what? Spence was correct, or Al Heyman was correct. Bud was wrong for this. That's why I continue and will always support this channel because we can do.
It's like the Munguia Charlo thing, right? I said it then. I don't agree with a lot of what Oscar says. Some things I do, some things I don't. But I personally believe you should have let him go. Why? You don't have anything better for him to do. You don't. What the hell is he doing now? He turned down the Charlo fight, right, to go fight Jimmy Kelly. And now what is he doing? He's fighting some other no-hoper. I said it then that I don't always feel that everybody should have to cross over to the PBC. But in this instance, yeah, you should. You don't have a title. You don't have a title. You need a title fight. What are you waiting for? So it's not even always being against the PBC. When Jermell fought Bryan, did I trash the fight? No, I said it's a great fight. When Fulton fought Figueroa, I said it's a great fight. But most of the time, yeah, I'm going to call it down the middle. Didn't I say Fulton's not going to pursue the MJ fight? He's going to be on social media. He's going to talk about it. And as much as I would like for him to have that fight, they will not do what needs to be done to make that fight a reality. And the same applies to Inouye. They won't do that either. They won't.
Okay,
The thing,
Julius.
the thing is, if you also notice, sorry to interrupt, I'm going to say one last thing here. I apologize. So another
Sure.
thing too is that you also notice a lot of other promotional companies don't have to constantly be running spin. And that's the thing is that when I see a promotional company that is always spinning kind of a narrative, that leads me to believe that things are not going so well, that you're not telling the truth. I don't
Yep.
see a spin from Top Rank and ESPN. I see them.
Well, let's put it another way. When you have a network executive spending as much time arguing with people on social media as Stefan does, something can't be right.
Yeah,
You
that's
should have better things to do.
That's a red flag right there, man. A big red flag.
Leo, you were going to
Look,
say something?
Yeah, when at the beginning of the year, when Crawford and Spence was a hot topic, Julius was talking about the guarantees, the purses. Is his fight gonna be done or not? I honestly believe that Terrence Crawford wasn't going to take the deal because it was going to be a low offer, and I consider a low offer what was really Terrence Crawford real market value, because I don't know what you people think, but I think uh, we cannot disagree, and this is just a fact. Terrence Crawford has been overpaid on Top Rank, and I thought, okay, this guy is not going to fight for under 4 million. But when I saw the real offer, I was like, wow. O sea, you guys are trolling so low. You're not really, not even a guarantee, not even a million. You're not trying to make this fight. So I was prepared to blame Crawford for the ruin of this fight, but I cannot do it. And I'm a Terrence Crawford fan, really.
I'm with
Now.
you. I'm with you, Leo, that depending on what came out, I was prepared to blame him. I was like, if you make this, like, you're up, your back is on the wall, bro. You see what I mean? So you need to be doing certain things. And from what I see, and it's not, I'm being serious. I look at this story, I'm like, bro, there's no way you guys were serious about doing a deal with a shitty offer like this. I almost can't believe that, like, really, dog, you were gonna have these two guys go out there and fight for no guarantee.
Well, one guy was claiming that him and Arrow had both agreed to the fight, even though there was no guarantee, and that he was supposed to fight, but he said he didn't. And he was like, and I was just kind of shaking my head. I mean, I wasn't on the guy's like live or nothing, but it was like, he's gonna fight with no guarantee. It's like,
country.
Let me read the super chat. IQ saludos. PBC goes under over 2 years, possibly 2 years, unless something dramatic happens. Because I don't see. Just, do they have prospects that can carry the banner for the next 5 years? Do they?
No.
And that's where my answer comes from. That when I look at Top Rank, I see the fighters that I will be watching for the next couple of years. When I look at Matchroom, I see fighters that I will be watching for the next couple of years. Even Frank Warren has a couple of kids. Ben Shalom has a couple of kids. I look at the younger guys that they've got, that they're not champions yet. They're still in the... And yet everybody's got a couple of guys. PBC doesn't. I don't... Like, what do you got? Rayo? They got Rayo? What? Isaac Cruz? What we got? Now,
you got that spin, that Joey Spencer kid who's been a prospect for like 5 years that draws like flies. Don't forget about him.
Brandon Lee. Al once squeezed HBO $800,000 for a Berto fight versus a bum because he threatened to take Floyd to Showtime, which he did eventually. Dude is the puddle of... Yo, dog, yeah, man. Well, he's a grifter, and that's what I've always maintained, that Al is good at conning network executives out of money. But in terms of the actual boxing stuff, grooming fighters and developing talent and putting it, the conversation always begins and ends with Floyd, Like bro, for starters, Maypac wasn't huge just because of Floyd. Is that what you think? So Manny and his fans, they had nothing to do with that. The Canelo fight, Canelo and his fans had nothing to do with that. This is the sickness that I see these guys got. That it's like,
well, that's the same.
You think Maypac was one of the biggest fights, the biggest fight ever, only because of Floyd?
Well, that's the thing is too. If you notice, the arguments always the pushback was, well, look at Wilder. Look what he did: 800,000, 600,000 buys. The next fight that he comes out, you couldn't feel you couldn't fill a toilet bowl with his fan
That was
base. There
his
was nobody there.
that was his swan song. You get me? This is an unbeaten fighter who just said, and I don't say this to be petty, but I'm just saying that if you really were the biggest attraction, just you by yourself. See, you're associated with the biggest fights in the sport. That bit of it is true. The biggest, most successful fights, you have been involved. But it's not all on you. Maypac wasn't just huge because of you. It was huge because Manny has a lot of fans too. Canelo had a lot of fans too. Cotto had a lot of fans too.
There's only one guy.
Wilder was an unbeaten baby champion.
There's only one guy today that you could put him in there, with a corpse that's going to do 400,000, and that's going to be Canelo. Canelo, you could really roll out a guy who's fresh dead, and you could punch on him for about 15 minutes, right? Tenderize him, and they would cheer.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the only guy out there. Wilder proved that. Well, I take it back. You could probably take AJ, not in the United States, but you could do that in England on a smaller scale. But
yeah, you could fill your call. AJ versus a cadaver. You could fill your call.
Yeah. No, I mean, you definitely will get it. But what I'm saying is there's nobody that the PBC has. And me being like Leo, a huge fan of Bud Crawford, I can readily admit that he's not a big draw. He's not a big talker. But what he is he's a great boxer. And I know this is going to be a shock. I'm a boxing fan. I like to see good boxers.
Listen, this is the reality, all right? These are the numbers that are out there. Before you clown Terence Crawford for what he did at the box office the last time out, realize that's more than Thurman versus Barrios did. That's more than Wilder versus Helenius did. That's more than Ruiz versus Ortiz. So, I mean, while we're on the subject of who's a draw and who isn't, the vast majority of pay-per-views, actually, Crawford versus Porter sold more than the Charlo doubleheader of 2020 because that only did a little over 100,000 buys. Crawford versus Porter did 130,000 buys to 135,000 buys. Okay.
And if you looked at that card, which I did buy, and honestly, it didn't do a lot of sales, but it was a pretty entertaining card. There were some pretty good, decent matchups.
Well, it was a good card, but it's just that the logic that is being employed is illogical. You think Wilder's the best thing since sliced bread, right? These are these guys that they love him to death. Well, then how come Crawford sold more than him? It's a simple question. The numbers are out there. The numbers are out there from various sources, whether it's Michael Woods, Rick Glacier, or Dan Rayfield. The numbers are all in the same ballpark. If Wilder's the best thing since sliced bread, you explain it. Why did Crawford sell more than him?
You do notice that when that pay-per-view with Wilder tanked, you didn't hear anything. I mean, Twitter was like tumbleweeds. No one was. I mean, anybody on that side of the aisle. Nobody mentioned a thing about it. No one mentioned
because they're like, I told you, they're like children. When something like that happens, it's kind of like a 12-year-old getting a bad report card. They'll hide. Or they'll get petulant about it. And these are adults, all right? You have full-grown adults, anywhere between 20 and 40, that'll play this stupid. It's like, fam, I'm not making nothing I'm saying is made up because I don't have time to be fucking stupid, bro, right? Crawford literally sold more with Sean Porter than Wilder did. And you think Wilder's the shit. You think Wilder deserves all this shit. Wilder only sold 75,000 pay-per-view buys. Crawford sold more, almost double. But you want me to believe Crawford doesn't deserve a guarantee.
Look, when this latest news about Terence Crawford and Errol Spence negotiations, the offer that was made to Terence Crawford, I got a feeling that I haven't had in a long time. Look, I cannot, maybe you can relate. It is this guy that is a fuck up, but it's still wrong. and one day does something, and you look at him and you say, dude, I don't, for a long time, I haven't expected nothing from you, nothing, and you still manage to disappoint me.
Mhm.
How? I never expect that kind of offer. Never. I didn't expect such a fuck up in the negotiation table.
I didn't imagine. Yeah, I didn't. Like. I almost can't believe it. I can't believe that it could be that bad, and people can be so absent-minded that like you don't get it. You like, do you not see that like this? Like I shouldn't have to explain. No guarantee. Show me a fighter. Show me a matchroom fighter that's going out there and fighting for no guarantee. Show me one.
I'll go a step farther. If you go down to your local arena that has 2,500 people and you pull a couple of guys out of the stands and you put them in a 6-round or 4-round bout, those guys are going to get like a $200 guarantee. Those guys.
Well, all I'm like, and they're so their whole thing is, oh, because you said it, I can't trust. All right, then don't trust me, but just answer the question. Show me a matchroom fighter that is getting out there and fighting for no guarantee. Well, really, I shouldn't even just say any fighter. Not that any of their fighters are fighting under those circumstances. Show me a champion. Show me one. Show me a champion on Top Rank that's getting out there and fighting for no guarantee. Show me one.
Let me ask you this question, and
You
I mean
can't
this
even
for
find an MMA fighter that will fight for no guarantee.
Fucking nuts.
Let me ask you this question. Give me an example, because I know there's not going to be anybody when I ask this question, but give me somebody in the past. Is there a fighter now or in the past that you can point to comparatively that has the same level of disrespect that's given toward Terence Crawford based on accolades alone when it comes to his money and actual respect? Because whenever you list what the guy has accomplished, I don't care what your opinion is on what you think about his feelings on the guy. I'm talking about his actual accomplishments. Tell me a fighter he's been more disrespected.
Nobody's more disrespected than Crawford, because you would think that he's a boring fighter the way they talk. No, he's not boring. He knocks people out. His whole welterweight campaign has been knockouts. So he is a knockout merchant. He is accomplished. He is a great boxer. Like all these different things, and it's just that's what makes it a sickness to me. That like, yo, how far are y'all willing to go to defend Al Heyman? How far?
And I think that's Crawford's biggest downfall at the moment. It's not his downfall by his own making. It's the unfortunate fact that he is in a time where he needs to deal with a specific company that has a good majority of the talent, right? Or at least the recognizable talent.
100% correct. Can you imagine Crawford in a different era with better matchmaking?
He'd got the fights. He'd have got the fights.
I mean, the thing is, he already, for all the adversity he's had to deal with when it comes to matchmaking, imagine if he could make these fights easier. He would go down as one of the top, probably 20 greatest fighters of all time.
Easily. We would see De La Hoya versus Crawford if he was in that time. De La Hoya fought everybody. Crawford would have been that good at that time to be like, I need to fight that guy.
And even if he would have lost, he would have still been able to fight him. We can't even get these guys in the ring.
No.
I'll leave it with this because it's getting late and I'm sleepy. The most I can say is it's not even like we've already established that these guys, they're never going to give Crawford his just due. It's just that what stands out to me here today is you can have this confirmed on both sides that neither one of these fighters stood to make anything up front. With all the arguing that goes on social media day in and day out, hour after hour, content creators that make videos of this stuff. And it's like, it's insane that you can hear this and you don't process it. It doesn't strike you as odd that for an undisputed welterweight title fight, there's no guarantees. You don't think that's strange. You can't be helped then.
The step farther than that, there's never been an undisputed welterweight in the four belt era ever. Two. So it's one thing that's never happened for this weight class. For two guys to get in the ring and you can't even guarantee them Taco Bell. The fact is, we can't get these guys to fight because there's no guarantee. That just proves. And you know what? I think Spence wants to fight because when Spence says, "I took a guarantee," or "I took no guarantee," and I just took a percentage, he could have got robbed just like.
Or he's in on the grift, bro. Those are his people. Never forget that.
No,
Those
you're right.
are his people that are orchestrating this because to me it's a charade. You know,
it is. No, absolutely. They don't want the fight. I mean, there's nothing that points to them actually winning the fight.
Well, you know, the thing is, you were wondering why they're defending Al Heyman so much. They're not only defending Al Heyman, they're also defending their hero fighter that they live vicariously through, no matter how good or bad they are. So they're defending
but how could anybody be that absent-minded to where, like, don't you like? In other words, what do you want out of this sport that you watch? Because it's not a fight. Clearly, right? Like, you know, we're all up here. Fights. Like, you don't want fights. You don't want Errol to prove that he was always able to beat. You don't want that, you know. So what do you want? Like, what the? I don't know what the fuck they want. Let me read the super chat. Will says Jack Johnson and Larry Holmes, they accomplished so much, and if you look up older articles, you can see the disrespect. I agree. Those guys were disrespected.
I will say that the thing is that they don't care about the fighting. They want to feel like they belong to something. And if you know anything about cults, if you know anything about people who've been involved with nefarious governments, you know, then these people, it's always about buying into something and wanting to feel a part of something. And that's exactly what it doesn't feel. Those don't feel like fans of boxing. They feel like they want to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves.
Yeah, it's got to be that, because it's like when you watch sports, the whole idea of watching sports is to watch two high-level athletes or two high-level teams get together to find out who's better. They don't want that. They want some kind of weird, just.
Jules, you know what they want? I'll tell you what they want. They want that truth inside of them. That's what they want.
What it looks like. On that note, I'm going to sleep, gentlemen. Always a pleasure. I'll catch y'all on the next one, and I will be going live for Bivol versus Ramirez this Saturday. So y'all know where to find me.
Thank you for having me on.
Have a good night,
guys.
fellas.
Have a good night.
Night, y'all.
Night, Jules. Have a good one. Thanks for having me on.